now. Okay, so what do we want to do next?
Writing the rule to describe a translation.
Writing the rule, okay. So this one. Okay, so let's get on with, let's lower this one down. All right, that's the answer. So, okay, here's our question. Let me look at your answer. Well, let's just go to the question and start it from scratch. Okay, so it says triangle ABC is translated 7 units to the left, 8 units and 8 units down. The result is triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. Okay, so when we translate, we sometimes call that a slide. So we're gonna, and you notice the size of the figure is the same, unlike the one we did before where we were working with dilation. The figure, enlarged. This case, the figure does not change in size. It's the very same figure, but it says the figure moves from ABC 7 units to the left. So this moves 7 units this direction, and then it moves 8 units down this direction. I'm not being precise with my arrows. I'm just pointing out that's kind of the general way we're going to move. We're going to slide that triangle. All right, so so it says the one thing you need to consider is when it says 7 units to the left and 8 units down, if I'm moving in the left and right direction, let's say left and right, what axis does that correspond to? Well, I mean, what axis also moves left and right?
X and Y.
Well, the X, right? So this is my X down here. And then if I move up and down, what axis does that correspond to?
X. No, Y.
The Y, yeah, the Y. So when we say left and right, up and down, we're referring to a movement that corresponds with either, left and right corresponds to the X or horizontal change. Up and down corresponds to the Y or vertical change. So just get that kind of in your mind. So 7 units to the left, if on a number line, if I've got a number line and this is 0 and I move 7 units to the left, that means I go this direction. What operation does that correspond to? Addition or subtraction?
Subtraction.
Subtraction, right. So subtraction. If I move to the right, we know that's addition. So anyway, so let's look at these. I could also say, for example, if I move up or down, I cannot draw very well with this pen, but I'll try. If I move up or down, up is to the positive, down is to the negative. So that's the way you need to think about that. Let me do some erasing here to clean up some things. And so on. Okay. So here we have the original coordinates of A, B, and C going with A, B, and C on this triangle. So notice A is 5, 4. Well, here it is, 5, 4, right there. And we know B is 2, 5. 2, 5 is right there. And then 1, 8 is right there. All right, so let's start with the change in the X direction. It says which of these is for the X direction, the vertical change? I'm sorry, the horizontal change. Is it the 7 units to the left or the 8 units down?
7 units to the left.
Right. So that means that and left goes with what? What did we say before?
Subtraction.
It's what operation?
Well, subtraction.
Right. So 7 units to the left means subtract 7. So I take my 5, my X value 5, subtract 7, and I get what?
-2.
Exactly. And let's deal with all these X's first, because we're going to subtract. So with the 2, I'm also going to do what? I'm also going to subtract 7. So what is 2 minus 7?
-5.
Good, -5. And then we have 1, and we're going to subtract 7. What is 1 minus 7?
-6.
Good. All right, so far, we know the new X values. So we have -2, -5, -6. So I'll write those down. -2, -5, -6. And now we're going to find, and I'm going to erase, we'll erase these to make room for our work for our Y values. But we know our new X values are -2, -5, -6. I've started to write then our new, now we're going to figure out what are our Y values to fill in the space for the Y. All right, so for the Y's, it says, what of these expressions, we deal with 7 units to the left, so what's the other expression that they write that affects the Y value? What is it? What are we going to do?
Move 8 unit down.
8 units down, and down means what?
Subtraction.
Right. So so we're going to take these 4, 5, and 8, and we're going to subtract 8 from them. So 4 minus 8 is what?
-4.
Exactly. And 5 minus 8?
-3.
-3. And what is that? 8 minus, is that 8? Yeah, 8 minus 8?
0.
0. So now these go up here. These go in place of our, what we didn't know before. Now we know our Y values. So these are our new, so in other words, these values all go in here, in these spots. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so now you're gonna, they're asking you to do is consider what will the, if we were writing the expression that we used to find the values for X and Y, how would those be represented? So we look at these, I'm gonna number these again so we can talk about them. So this is choices 1 through 4, let's say. This is choice 5, 6, 7, and 8, let's say. All right, so let's look at each one. So for the X plus 7, X and Y plus 8, does that match what we just did?
No.
No, because we subtracted 7 and we subtracted 8. So let's see if there's any that just say subtract. So which of these have an expression that says we subtract 7 from the X and subtract 8 from the Y? What number does that?
2.
Number 2. So number 2 is the answer.
So,
And that's
I
it.
get it now. I get it now.
Yeah. So everything in life takes practice, Lakarian, and trying, and you're doing the right thing, and you're trying and you're learning by trying, always trying to do better. It's math rewards persistence and effort. So does that make sense? Does that cover it?
Yes.
Okay. Do we need anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. All I'm gonna stop the recording, and again, I'm gonna talk to your mom. Is your mom at home or is she at work?
Yeah.
Oh, she's at home? Okay, tell her I may be calling her later to ask her
Okay.
permission to publish.